Yo, Triple Eight Mega Bad Deck Enthusiast, and today I have a massive little deck profile for you guys. One of my favorite decks of all time, MELFFY, and we're playing it pure. But first, if you guys been enjoying my content, or if you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe because it will help me out a ton and motivate me to keep making massive new content for all of you. So this is my pure MELFFY list, and I've been tinkering with it for a few days. This deck is tons of fun, but for a quick summary, if you're not familiar with MELFFYs, these cute woodland creatures focus on scurrying back to the hand whenever a monster is normal or special summon, or when they're each targeted for attack, and then they have benefits when doing so. Caddy will then return to the hand to let you add a beast, any beast, from your deck to your hand. Puppy will then let you special summon a level 2 or lower beast from the deck. Wally will let you summon 2 MELFFYs from the deck. Penny, when a card is returned to the hand, it'll let you special summon it and then synchro summon with the MELFFYs in your hand. And then of course we're playing good support, beast support cards like Hot Air Squadron, Rescue Cat, Nimble Beaver, etc. And then you have the MELFFY Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek lets you return 3 beasts with different names from your graveyard into the deck to then draw a card. And Staring Contest lets you reveal a beast from your hand to then add a MELFFY and then shuffle in the revealed beast. We're also playing a lot of go second cards because the deck is just good at going first. So we're playing Duster, we're playing Evenly Matched, we're playing Talents, we're playing Dark Ruler. And I used to have 3 of these, but don't ask what happened to it. As for the extra deck, we're playing Herald of Arc Light. I feel like this deck just is too slow when it comes to summoning this card against Tear, which is the main reason you want to summon it. So honestly, it's not really like the first plan, and that's why we're playing Dimension Fissure. Also, Merry MELFFYs is like what you're summoning off a Penny most of the time, spin a monster. Desert Locust you can summon on your opponent's turn, but then make them discard a card, but if they're playing Tear, you're going to help them. And Desert Locust will then go into Baron DeFleur, which is a negate, Omni negate. Ronin Raccoon for the OTK lines if you find one. MELFFY the Forest is your main searcher, so we're playing this at 2. And then we have MELFFY Mommy, you could summon it off of Merry MELFFYs, but other than that I don't really use it. Joyous MELFFYs is good disruption. If you put 2 of these guys underneath it, he'll summon them back from the graveyard when you tag out, and that's 2 pops. I would play a 3rd Kalantosa, but I cut 1 card just because I needed to cut a card. And then the rest of these extra deck you don't really use. Maybe Elf, maybe Virgit. That's it. And yeah, that's pretty much the deck list. So in this replay, we're going first, and our hand's pretty cracked. Not really, but we have Cat, so that's a starter, so it's okay. So we're gonna go Staring Contest and immediately get Maxi, which my opponent doesn't know is that Staring Contest does not special summon. So we can like pass here if we wanted to, but that would leave us with almost nothing. So we're going to go search for the Wally and spin back in the Pony. We don't need the Pony yet. Pony adds back from the graveyard. And we're gonna go to Wally, which is like 2 summons, equals about 2 interruptions. And our opponent's just setting cards now. I don't really remember. It's probably Tear. Another Maxi. He's like very bricked. But this deck wants a slow game. It doesn't really want to play a fast game, so it's all good. To Herald of Arc Light, because I'm assuming my opponent's just on a brick Tear. We draw into Obedience School, which doesn't do anything, but we have Cat. Cat can then summon 2 beasts from the deck. We get Ash Blossom, but now we're going to negate that with the Herald of Arc Light. And to Call by the Grave, so we're not negating anything. But now we can activate our Obedience School because we don't have any cards on the field, any monsters on the field. So we summon 3 beasts from the deck. Our opponent uses Ash, so he can't Ash us. Kalantosa, Valeraphon, and Caddy. Doesn't really matter which ones you summon here, but you kind of don't want to use your Penny or your Hot Air Squadron because you're going to need them later. Joyous MELFFYs, we're trying to detach to go attack them for directly. Not even to make Zeus, just to attack him directly. But he negated us. And why attack his face down? You know? It's just not. So our opponent rips into Pearl which is going to unbrick him. And we're immediately going to tag out our Joyous MELFFYs. Summon back our Kalantosa and our Wally. Gonna pop the field spell, which is already a little too late because he got to add his Rhinoheart. But it's cool. Rhinoheart sends, but we're gonna Wally into Puppy and Caddy most likely. Nope, Pony and Caddy, because Pony can add back from the graveyard any of our beasts, which will probably be Hopper Squadron or Rescue Cat. He's gonna go into the Kit Kalos. Pony will then activate. Caddy will then activate. And like the amount of resource advantage you gain and just recursion is pretty good for this deck. It's not good enough for against tier, but it's good in general. Like if this wasn't a tier meta, I think this deck would be a little more playable. Penny into Caddy, Synchro to make Merry Melffys. I'm gonna spin back to Kit Kalos because he didn't have a play before that, so we might as well get rid of it. And he has Foolish Burial Goods. But we have Hopper Squadron, and this is probably a misplay because we're going to make the Desert Locust, but if he has something to discard, it's just going to make him like start playing again. And Sulliek will trigger, which will add something for him to discard to start playing. So that was the mistake here. We didn't have to summon this. We could have waited. But you live and you learn. He ditches Exchange of the Spirit. So now we know he's on Gravekeeper's Trap. And he has to summon Kit Kalos again, because he didn't have one in the graveyard. He also didn't mill any King of the Swamps if he's playing it. Into Alsa. My graveyard has a lot of Earth monsters in it, so I would, you know, I understand. To Gigantic. But he's going to run into the Staring Contest, which is going to reduce their attack by 800. Which means he can't attack over the Desert Locust, and now it's our turn. He goes down there into Zeus. But what are you going to do? Zeus away your Kit Kalos? Probably. Nope, he's going to mill 5 on his own. Mill some Shufflers. We don't really care about the Shufflers so much, so it's all good here. Zeus wipes the board. Chirin will then trigger to summon Rule Kalos. And Rule Kalos is probably the worst card to deal with, just because it always makes one of your plays not good, but he's going to choose the Rule Kalos over the Zeus. Not really. So the way this works is because he Zeused away my trap card and I had no cards on the field, he had to get rid of both of his cards. But Rule Kalos will come back, but now because it's not fusion summoned anymore, if it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, it won't come back this time. So he's going to negate the Beaver and send it to the graveyard. He didn't have anything else to send instead of it, so now we just play Special Wally, Special Pony. He draws absolutely nothing because why would he draw anything? We draw Beaver. Summon Beaver. Summon another Beaver. Going to Melffy of the Forest now. Melffy of the Forest can add the Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek will protect our beast monsters once per turn from being destroyed by card effects. And it also shuffles in 3 cards from the 3 beasts with different names from the graveyard into the deck to draw a card. We're gonna get our shuffles. We're gonna get our choices shuffled. Shuffles shuffled. So we're not shuffling anything to draw a card. We're just shuffling it for free. But that's fine. He's wasting his shufflers. This deck doesn't really care about shufflers. The only interactions we have is, I believe, Pony, which doesn't target, and Joyous Melffys, which also doesn't target. So now Joyous Melffys will then be on the field. Penny will attach to it in the end phase. We have 1 Kalantosa in the grave. So when we tag out, we can go into 1 Kalantosa and 2 Melffy names maybe. But he went straight to end phase, so we're just summoning our guys. And now it's turn 9. Our opponent doesn't have, we drew Calantosa. We're gonna draw a card first. And this is like the resource advantage I was talking about, where we just have more cards than our opponent because he wasn't able to stop us. And yeah, he was bricked, but what do you want? Me to play post a video with me playing against Pure Tear? I don't think that's possible. He ripped into Ash Blossom. And if you look at it, he had, what, 2 Maxis in the first turn, Called by the Grave, Imperm, Ash Blossom. He deserves the brick. It's not on me that he bricked. Another Ash Blossom here. We summon back the Wally. We go into our Calantosa, into Joyous Melffys again. Into number 64, Ronin Raccoon. One of my favorite cards of all time. Summon the Kagebusha token. And we attack him for game 1, 2. Make sure you end it with the good boy. And that was us clapping Tear. I mean, we don't always beat Tear. Probably like 40% of the time, to be honest. But in that duel, they were just bricked, and we took advantage of it. And it just shows you the consistency and what the deck tries to do. So I usually have 2 decks that tries to punish each other for normal summoning or even special summoning. You get this. We have MELFFY versus Flu. You open up triple Obedient School, which isn't good. It just looks good. It's not good. All that means is if one gets Ash, we have another. But other than that, realistically, you only get to activate 1 per duel. So we go into MELFFY the Forest. And we have to get rid of this caddy because it will blow up in the end phase. So we're going to make something with it. We have Beaver also. Burajit. We're going to go hide and seek now because we made it live by summoning the Burajit. Then we can then draw a card. And the card is Staring Contest. We don't need Hop Air now, so we can turn it back in and get a Wally. That's exactly what we decided to do. We're going to end our turn. We're going to summon Wally. Wally will summon Puppy and Caddy from the deck. When it does that, we can negate a card if we want and make it never able to attack. But he has evenly matched. Damn! So we're going to get rid of everything but Wally because Wally is the strongest card we have on the field. And we play a second MELFFY the Forest. Because we know this is Flu, there's nothing he could do without summoning a monster. But he added the Ash to his hand so that when we go to Wally, he can Ash it. But we rip in a triple tactics talent, so it's all good. We're just going to pass. There's nothing we could do. And our opponent sees that there's nothing we could do, and he's not scared of us ending him, that he just doesn't do anything either. We ripped into the Call by for the Ash now. And we didn't set it. But that's because we don't think our opponent's going to play the game. He's going to set a monster. So, like, I don't know what's going on in his hand for him to just set a monster. But he knows that if he summoned a monster, we would get 2 from the deck. We ripped in the Cat. He's going to go Ash Blossom now. And we're going to Call by the Grave that. He's going to Maxi us because he knows that we're about to, you know, play the game. But that makes our triple tactics live. All of it does. So we don't really care. Ash Blossom gets negated. Rescue Cat summons Calantosa and Nimble Beaver. We're going to triple tactics. Look at his hand. See what he's on. Get rid of his map. Wins, whatever it's called. Now we go for our Link 2. Into Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf can summon back up a level 2 from the graveyard. He's still drawing cards, but I'm not concerned anymore. Bellerophon will then discard a card, special summon a beast, either face up or face down defense. Calantosa, when special summoned by a beast, can pop a card. And then we're going to make our Joyous Melffys. Attack him for 34. Run into evenly number 2. Damn! Lose our Sprite Elf, but we don't really care about Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf did his job. He's gonna go into Dimensional Fissure, and this is when I realized that Dimension Fissure in my deck actually has some synergy. Because I activate this card under Dimension Fissure, And all the Xyz material goes to the graveyard, and now we can summon them back from the graveyard. So it's like we're not even under Dimension Fissure. We pop the Rabina. M-Pen will then summon, and then add. Wally will then special summon 2 Melffys from the deck. Wally is busted. Wally is an amazing card. So now M-Pen will then add, Eaglin will add M-Pen, but when he summons Toucan, we can trigger our Melffys. Caddy will then go back to hand to add a monster from deck. Puppy will special summon a level 2 beast from the deck. Talentosa number 2. Caddy add Penny. He's going to add back the Rabina, but he already used it this turn, so we don't care. Toucan, pop the Toucan. Penny will then special summon itself and then initiate a synchro summon. So now we're going to Merry Melffys. We're going to bounce the Eaglin. We're going to pop the Toucan, bounce the Eaglin, and tell him to play the game, but that one got banished. Tell him to play a game. I think we know that he's on a trap, but he might not be. But we try to play around it as best we can. Rolling Melffy to Forest. Adding the staring contest, which I think we're just doing it just because. Hit him for 18. Show him who's boss. Puppy. Joyous Melffys on the field again. This is the best animation in Master Duel. Prove me wrong. Wally will then summon. We can summon 2 more Melffys if he summons again. And at this point, Joyous Melffys will get him with double Talentosa. Pop his 2 face downs. We're not worried about Dimension Fissure at all. And we did it in draw phase to play around that trap card, and come to find out, he didn't even have it. Those Extravagance. But this is all desperation now. And that's it for him. I'm not sure if this duel goes like this every time, but it went like this time. This next duel is against Vernisylph, Emancipator, Rock, Earth, stuff, whatever. And we're going second for once. But our opponent just Mudoras and passes. Because if we're on tier, that does something. But because we're not, it does absolutely nothing to us. But he has the Ash Blossom for our Nimble Beaver, so I guess we can't do what we want. We have to end our turn. But at least when we end our turn, we're left with Puppy and Wally, so that's something. Our opponent's Shufflers are pretty useless to him in this duel. So he's gonna go tackle Crusader right away. We know he's trying to go to Gallant Granite, so we're not having that. Puppy will then special summon Talentosa. Wally will summon Caddy and Pony. Talentosa pop Mudora. Hop Air Squadron will then make a level 4 synchro into the Merry Melffys. Get this tackle Crusader off the board. He doesn't have any Emancipators to follow up with. And here we go. Now you could try to go for game here, but I feel like as long as you have board presence and some form of interruptions, you're like ready to go here. So we're gonna go Melffy the Forest instead. We get Ash Blossom, but we have the Call by the Grave. Mudora will then shuffle in Ash Blossom, so we can't Call by it. But it's not that serious. But I guess he figured out he wouldn't have a good time to Mudora us anyway. Call by the Grave gets fizzled. Melffy the Forest gets negated. We normal summon the Puppy. Going to Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf will summon back the Puppy. And we're just gonna poke him a little bit. For 29 plus 300, 32. Summon Wally in the end phase. And you just have to consistently deal with Puppy and Wally, and it's not possible. Summon Caddy, summon another Puppy, negate the Tackle Crusader. It cannot attack ever. And that is it. I like this deck a lot. It has control, you know, it has a lot of control variables to it. But it also can pop off if you let it. And it can OTK you out of nowhere. Nimble Beaver, We go into MELFFY the Forest. Psych, we go into Farajit. Farajit summons the Rescue Cat. See, making sure you're paying attention. Rescue Cat will then summon 2 from the deck. Kalatosis number A and B. Now we go into our MELFFY the Forest. Psych, pay attention. Joyous MELFFYs. And we end on Joyous MELFFYs, which can pop 2. And our Dimensional Figure. So if this is any deck other than Tier, maybe they can play. But it's not. So in real time, our opponent just sat here for like, I don't know how many minutes, maybe 5 or 6, and then normal summoned Cybersign. So if I let Cybersign go, I would just assume that Naturia Exterio is coming out. It could be Kit Kalos, but I'm not taking a chance. We're gonna go under D-Fissure, summon back our Kalatosa. We only needed 1, and then he sets a card, which I can only assume is some sort of tail limit. So let me know if you guys want to see a Vernisylph list as well. But other than that, this is my list, and remember, if it works for me, it can work for you. Pieces.